On today's video, we'll be working on an AC. We're gonna start by setting the thermostat to cool, making sure it's on auto. Here, we wanna make sure that our set point is below the ambient temperature inside the unit. You can adjust this by clicking up or down. Now that I have the thermostat to cool auto, I'm gonna wait for the thermostat to send the signal to start calling for the condenser to turn on. Make sure you're working on the proper condensing unit. Here I've already isolated the condenser for this system. And what I'm doing is I'm waiting for the thermostat to kick in to send the signal for the condenser to turn on. The thermostat did turn on. Right now the air handler, the blower motor is running. However, the condensing unit has not turned on. What I want to do at this point is I want to check everything here at the thermostat before I move to the air handler or the condensing unit. I'm going to turn off my service switch. In this particular unit, it's located above the air handler. You may have a plug and unplug it. It depends on what system you're working on. I'm going to remove the thermostat to check the wiring here in the back. I do see here the wires are pretty close to each other, which could have caused a short. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reorganize these wires. Now that we have properly wired each of the terminals and there's proper spacing in between, we can start troubleshooting the system. We're going to turn the service switch to the on position. If it has a plug, you'll plug it in. What I want to do is I want to test my low voltage coming in from this red wire. I have my multimeter set to volts, and I have one of the leads on the red and one on the yellow. And you can see here I am getting proper voltage. It should read at least 24 volts. I have 27. What I'm going to do is I'm going to jump my 24 volt red incoming wire, and I'm going to connect it to my yellow terminal. That's my AC. And what I'm doing is I'm trying to see if I can jump the condenser unit by bypassing the thermostat. Here, the condenser unit has not turned on. If you do not have this mag jumper, what you can do is you can pull your R wire and pull your yellow wire, and you can tap them together, and this will do the same thing. Here I've jumped my red and my yellow wires. The condenser has not turned on. I put my wires back together on each terminal. What this tells me is that my thermostat is not the issue. By me jumping my red and my yellow, that should have automatically engaged my contactor to turn on. So I know the problem is not the thermostat. And just if you want to double check, we can go here from my red to my green, and my blower motor should turn on at the air handler. My blower motor is running. I'm going to remove my jumpers. Now the blower motor is off. At this point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to check the breaker for the condensing unit downstairs. This unit is painted on, so just take a utility knife, score the paint. You're gonna have to do it around the handle as well, and then you're going to push up and open the panel. Now that I've scored it with a blade, I had to do the same thing around the handle. The breaker here is labeled. This is my air handler. This is my condensing unit. They don't appear to be tripped. I'll turn them off, turn them back on. Put my jumpers back on my R and my yellow. The condenser is still not running. I'm gonna remove my jumpers. I'm gonna connect my thermostat. Before I connect it, I wanna make sure I'm on the off and auto position. disconnect the top first and then snap the bottom in place. At this point, I know my thermostat is not the issue. My blower motor at the air handler is turning on. I checked the breaker to the condenser. There doesn't appear to be any issues with the breaker. At this point, we're gonna go to the condensing unit itself. I'm gonna turn my thermostat to the cool auto position. Make sure the set point is down. Ensure your main service switch is in the on position. My thermostat is calling for cool. The air handler, the blower motor is on. The breaker is not tripped. The next step is going to the condensing unit. This is going to be the main disconnect for the condensing unit that I'm working on. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to see if I have 200 volts coming here feeding the condensing unit. Now, right now I can see what the issue is. Someone pulled the main disconnect switch, the fuse, and so this is why my system is not running. This is how it should look. This is the fuse. What I'm gonna do is I'm gonna test the system to see if I have 240 volts. Each lead should be 120, 120, and that should be a total of 240. We're gonna test our leads here on the left. And here I have 118, 120 volts. When taking your reading, you want to bring your probes on the inside. This is the right side. I have 120. Here I have extra fuses. Make sure you're wearing proper gear, glasses, gloves when you're working on your system. I do have my thermostat to the on position. As soon as I put this fuse in, my condenser should turn on. See here that it is running. My thermostat is running. My blower motor and my air handler is running. My breakers are not tripped. The condenser unit is running. What I'm gonna do now is I'm gonna use my multimeter and set it to the temperature reading, and my probe is gonna give me the temperature of the air coming out of the vents. Right now, my multimeter, my temp probe, is reading at 69 degrees. I'm gonna let it sit there for a couple of minutes. The thermostat is already reading a change in the ambient temperature of 2 degrees. I've waited approximately 5 minutes. My ambient temperature inside the unit has dropped from 99 to 93. This indicates to me that my system is running and operational. What I'm looking for when I'm servicing a unit is to ensure that I have a 15-degree split. What that means is whatever the temperature is inside of the unit, I want to make sure that whatever the temperature is coming out the vents is at least minimally 15 degrees. The air inside the unit is reading 89, 90 degrees. That tells me that I have at least a 20-degree split, a little bit more than 20 degrees. To take a reading of the temperature inside the unit, the ambient temperature, you'll want to read the air flowing through your filter. If this video was a help, if it was informational, please subscribe.